Dead was the gift that kept on giving. Dead, like diamonds, was forever. Earlier this week, I finished Song of Susannah, the sixth book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and I like this way more than I had anticipated. Going into this, I had low expectations, I'll be honest. From what I had read online and from the reviews I'd seen by people I really trust, it seemed like Song of Susannah was just not quite as good as the rest of the Dark Tower series, you know what I mean? It just, it was weird. Some people don't like how meta it gets, and I guess this one just for most people didn't work because Susannah is the titular character, and she seems out of the quartet to be the least favorite, or at least that's what I've read online. I don't know if that's actually true, but I really vibed with this. I cannot say that this is going to be anybody else's favorite in the series, and I'm not going to say it's my favorite either, but I really, really liked it, and I would actually say it's my second favorite of the series so far. This book was awesome, guys. First of all, the pacing was amazing. I liked Wolves of the Calla, do not get me wrong, but Wolves of the Calla had some slower pacing, whereas Song of Susannah, I felt like it almost reads like a thriller, how quick you get through this book. I finished in like 3 days flat, and it's still like a 16-17 hour audiobook, something like that. So it's not like super long, but it's also not short by any stretch of the imagination. It's not like a 200-page book where you can just finish in a day, but man, I read through it quick because I was so addicted to what was happening. I always felt like I wanted to know what was going to happen next. Like, from the way that this opens to the way that this ends, I just felt like King was on his A game here, man. I just felt like he started off really strong, the middle section was really strong, and he finished strong. I loved Susannah in this. I loved her conversation with Mia, her other half, if you will. I just absolutely adored Eddie and Roland and Jake coming into the real world where we are, like the people here, and how meta it got, because this is like if you've ever seen the episode of Chowder where like they like talk to the writer, it's like that, you know what I mean? Like it gets super, like they're talking to Stephen King levels of meta. And I understand why that would not work for some people. But for me, Dark Tower has always been about like the weird stuff, you know what I mean? I love the Western element. I love the fantasy. I love the science fiction. But I really love this series because Stephen King is not afraid to just get weird with it. And he got super, super, super weird with this one. He was just totally going there. At every instance, he got weird with it, and I like that. Like that's why I like him as a writer, because he's willing to take risks like no one else I've read. I mean, this dude he just brings it. I felt like the character work here was awesome. Not just like the main characters with the quartet, but even like new characters we were introduced to. I just absolutely adored. I really liked how these other characters were interacting with the content, and this whole idea of like walk-ins and how those function. And I like there was just something about this that I clicked with. Like, whatever wavelength Stephen King was on while writing this, I was also apparently on while reading it, because I understood exactly what he was going for, and I thought he just knocked it out of the park. So the pacing was awesome. The additional world building that we get is crazy good. I just think that the Dark Tower has some of the best world building that I've read in a long time. It's some of my personal favorite. This book, I think, has cemented the Dark Tower as my second favorite fantasy series. That is genuinely how much I enjoyed it. I mean, I've enjoyed all the books up to this point. I don't want you guys to get me wrong, but this one was so good that I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is like a top 3 for me, and it's not number 3. It's not number 1 because the Wheel of Time can't be beat. But this was just so enjoyable. The series has been so enjoyable up to this point. It's really its own thing. I adore it. So yeah, the world building was really cool. The character work was really fun. I just love the shenanigans in this one. Like, it felt like so fun, and just like kind of that final it was like the bridge between Wolves of the Calla and like the Dark Tower. It was like that final crossing. It's like that final thing that you get to spend time with all these characters before tragedy is going to strike, because that's just how these stories go. There's going to be tragedy in the Dark Tower, right? It's bound to happen. But this is kind of that final moment where you get to go on one last quest, and I really appreciated it. So I don't know, like Song of Susannah, I think it's got a lot going for it. I think if you allow yourself to really jump into this one with no expectations and just let Stephen King tell the story that he's going to tell, you'll enjoy this. You know, I'm not guaranteeing that this will be anybody's favorite, but I can see why certain people like it, including myself, but I can also see why certain people don't. So yeah, overall, Song of Susannah was really good time. And The Dark Tower is, yeah, one of the best fantasy series I've ever read. I love it. And I'm really loving The Dark Tower, the final book so far. So I'm going to give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Currently, book of the month for me. But The Dark Tower might beat it, so we'll see.